only a matter of seeding. I mean,
DreamHack.
yeah, they're top
Guaranteed.
4. Guaranteed top 4 in Europe, and that's the big news. So it obviously quite a bit in terms of seeding. You don't want to be near the bottom because you're going to have a very tough bracket to win DreamHack, but being near the top would be an excellent look for Dignitas.
Circa banned out by Dig again. Respect and adapting. Who went with the Camazots last game? I don't think he played bad in that at all.
No, he played fine, but
well.
again, just not the big difference for me there. I think Dignitas felt comfortable grouping up because there wasn't enough AoE from NRG. This time around, I mean, even at something like a Poseidon for Yemen, something along those lines that just has AoE damage that you can really punish multiple people for.
Fafnir banned out this time around by NRG. They don't want to give that away to Trixank. They took it last time themselves, which worked out well for the time being. But Dignitas also respecting the fact that they don't want to first pick Nemesis.
No, I like this ban because, again, you don't want to first pick it, as you mentioned, but you also don't want to put it in Adapting's hands. With these games going later in Europe, and the late game being a little bit more meta on this side of the pond, Nemesis is one of the best picks in the game. I mean, you really can't contest that she's going to be very strong at basically every single game, with tanky targets all around the place right now, the Warriors being very, very strong, without Sunder being very relevant. And this late game, I mean, Nemesis always going to be good.
Sol, however, has been really solid in game 1, so much so that it was banned to make sure that Dignitas couldn't have it. They will get it this time, though, but it gives NRG the chance for a support pick and another big pick. Kurnanos is the one they think is highly valued here.
Could be the Terra here as well for NRG. That made it all the way to last pick for Trixtank last time around. Or Bellona and Osiris both open. It's going to be Bellona for Demi.
Which means we may see Variety just take the opposite end of the spectrum and just take the Osiris. By opposite end, I mean the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I expect to see that Osiris is going to be for Variety. And no surprise that Demi opts for the Bellona, because that's, when given the choice, NRG seemed to prefer to give Demi that Bellona. And Demi had a pretty solid showing in game 1, but when you are the initiator for your team and you've got a Nemesis on the other team, it's very difficult to stand up in that front line and survive, even in terms of getting that heal from the Bracer or the Erlong ultimate.
Had a feeling it would be Terra there for Trixank. His god pool has been pretty slim this year. He's not been doing too much in terms of variety. He's been sticking to a handful of gods, Terra one of them, alongside Geb, Fafnir, and Kepri. I guess the other ones we really see him on.
What else does he need?
Ganesh.
Could be Ganesh, but if they're going to give him Terra and he's going to play well on it, may as well take it. I mean, you don't, in my mind, you don't have to prove that you have a big god pool until you need to prove you have a big god pool. You know what I mean? Whenever a team is focusing you out. Exactly. That's when you need to have 1 or 2 picks that you're comfortable with. You really only need to have a very small handful at a top tier level in order to be a competitive player.
Rama locked in again for our kill. Not a real surprise there. NRG having a long, hard think, because they're going to have to put something in the mid lane here that's going to be able to deal with Sol. What exactly does deal with Sol, if it is mid?
It's tough. I mean, Sol is just so safe in that mid lane and also provides that burst damage come late game, the objective siege. You know, I think there's something, I don't really like the Poseidon, as I was talking about earlier. Poseidon, not a good matchup because of the slow immunity as well.
Right.
I think that we could see something like a Nox. I mean, Nox with some CC is very, very potent up against characters that rely on escapes, like Sol, like Terra, like Rom, but there isn't a whole lot quite yet there for NRG.
I was going to ask if we see Frey go back to the dual lane, or even Kronos go to the dual lane here and pull that Kurnanos in the mid lane again. Even without the Fafnir, I mean, it looks like Dignitas may suspect that could be a situation there. Could we see Kronos in the dual lane?
Sure. I mean, like I said, I think it's one of those characters that's a little bit undervalued right now. I still think he's probably a little bit better in mid overall, but I'm a little bit biased because I think Kronos is fun and I want to play him in mid, so I just want him to be in mid lane.
Raven, Sumukong, Kepri, Freya are the bans, and NRG will get the next pick option. More than likely, I'm expecting this could just be the support here so the mid can get a bit more flexibility.
Yeah.
Ganesh is still available, as is Geb.
Yeah, Geb would be really strong here in my mind, really providing that shield for Camazots as he's going up into the air. He comes down and all of a sudden could be in trouble. Give him the Geb shield and it's not as much of a worry.
Also, those knockups just disrupt so much. Knockups definitely the best CC in the game,
Without
other than Death.
Is Death a CC?
Yeah, it is. It's a hard CC.
It's the hardest CC, I suppose.
That's correct.
Wow.
Dignitas then just need a jungler and a solo laner more than likely here. And there's the jungler with Susano slipping down and through. We don't see as much as we used to see of him, but he's still top tier.
Still absolutely one of the best assassins in the game, but he can have a little bit of a difficult matchup up against Camazots because of that disjoint jump from the Camazots. You're able to get over that wind siphon if you time it correctly. Pretty skill-dependent matchup there, but could see some outplay potential for adapting.
Tell me a little bit about why we saw them ban Sumukong Raven instead of Osiris. That's the one thing that surprised me more than anything else here. It feels like NRG want variety on Osiris.
Yeah, I agree with you. That was curious to me as well, and Variety says, all right, I'll take it. They're 5-0 with it so far.
Well, the Kronos pick I was right on too.
Yeah,
but it's still flexible because we could see Amelito run that in the duel lane, or we could see Yaman in the mid.
I'd expect this is going to be Kronos ADC. We saw Yaman play the Keranos mid. The skin is for him. Like he played this god at Worlds and did so well that he got a skin.
I don't agree. I think it would be Keranos in mid. I expect. No, you're right. Yeah, I think Keranos mid because Keranos versus Sol in the matchup of wave clear is a little even. We're both wrong. No, we're not. We're right.
I'm right.
We're both right.
We're both right.
We're both right and both wrong.
We're just so used to being wrong that you expected us to be wrong, but we weren't this time.
That's a very good point. That means something's going to go wrong in this game. You know that. If the casters are right, something odd is going to happen. We're going to say something like, Raph is one of the safest players when he plays Geb and he's going to get first blooded. I've said it now and it's going to happen.
Well, there you go. It's how many gems is Dignitas throwing you under the table to get Raph first blooded?
No, I never thought about that. God, I'm missing real income hours where I could be making plenty of money off these games if I just...
Caster curse people?
Just curse people consistently.
You're like a hitman for your caster curse?
That's a try. Trix is going to come mid lane with zeros, but look at cheeky old Dimmy. We saw this earlier on, but there's a ward here, so they know Dimmy's wrapping around potentially, and because of that, Dignitas aren't even really worried. They saw him step in the wall, go towards speed. Instead, Dimmy's going to have to just accept the elementals, or at least the babies of the elementals here, expecting to be aggressed on by the two men in his solo lane.
Now those two men are going to go into this right side jungle, have a couple options here. They want to go for the big fire elemental. That looks to be the call. Good decision to not try and invade on that right-hand side because with both Yaman and adapting there, yeah, Dimmy's going to be tied up for a little bit on that right-hand side, coming late to the wave, but you still don't want to take a 2v2 that it's going to turn into a 2v3.
And Rafa and Amelito actually changed their mind about starting in the lane at all. They did their red, they did their purple. Now they're going to get the oracles too before even turning up at lane. This is what we started to see more and more as the season progresses. People not even taking on level 1 fights.
Variety in a bit of trouble on this right-hand side. Dimmy could go for the slow, but now it's adapting, tagging up those minions, forcing the Aegis early on, but it's still Dignitas looking to fight.
I think Cuvo just missed that dash a little bit too early to avoid the Aegis, otherwise it could have been a different story. Now it's a chance for, once again, NRG to get aggressive. Variety's the one getting low because of the lifesteal for adapting, and they turn it around. NRG get the first blood onto Variety, and Cuvo is just gonna get away in time.
Shouts to Jetstream, man, one of the best escapes in the game, but again, it's Variety falling for that first blood, and that's just so many slows on the side of NRG in that level 2 fight. I mean, you've got a potent slow out of Dimmy, you've got one out of adapting as well.
Love what Raph is doing.
Plenty of damage.
Love what Raph is doing. He's just trying to buy time for his boys to steal away the speed, and if he's going to get poked down, that's fine. It just means Trix and Zeros can't contest, and now Zeros gets pressured in mid, which keeps pressure on for the whole of NRG in the mid lane.
Already, NRG off to a pretty good start in this one. Not only getting that first blood, but the invade on the right side as well. Then it was NRG who got both buffs on that right-hand side on their side of the map. So now it's only one buff going Dignitas' way on the right-hand side.
I've missed those fights in solo lane, though. You know the 2v2 starts we used to see of jungler solos boxing it out, and the mistakes that you make in those lanes cause so many problems. And to be fair, Q and Variety probably haven't had as much experience working together in straight 2-on-2s in the solo at the start of the game at level 1 and 2 compared to that of Dimmy and adapting.
I mean, how many jungle solos have had as much practice as Dimmy and adapting in those sort of scenarios?
Nowadays, not many.
Yeah, not exactly. It's maybe weak in Cyclone Spin, though. They took a break from teaming together for a while.
But you don't really lose it, do you?
No, I suppose not. It's
it's
like riding a bike. You just get right back into it, and you know exactly what the other player is going to do at all times. Dimmy, you try to get those fire elementals, but Dignitas was there in time to secure them away.
And that's the only lead right now. It's about 700 in favor of NRG because of the invades and the goal fury early on. Similar pace to game 1. Is this because the comps are similar, or are the comps like just setting up for this anyway?
I mean, it's a little bit similar. I mean, both teams, again, have strong late games. You're looking at Dignitas. I think theirs is a little bit worse than it was in game 1. Trading out Susano for Nemesis, not exactly an even trade come late game. Sol is close to Kronos, but as I mentioned, I think I'd take Kronos over almost any god in the game in the later stages, and now it's NRG the one who has that Kronos. So I think that NRG probably a little bit more favored come late game now.
Well, Arco once again going for that Devour's Gauntlet is adapting, swings around to say hello to Variety once more and continue the pressure to give Dimmy lane dominance here so far. And it means Dimmy can rotate a little bit earlier on, go get some buffs either in his own jungle or the enemies.
And it's his own buffs that are coming up first. And this is good news if you're rooting for NRG, because this means they can secure their own buffs on this right-hand side, even with adapting. And this time he got 2 a little bit. No one saw.
Guys, he's probably one of the best junglers in the world. Even he misses abilities. F. Dot is screaming now. He's like, yes, I'm not the only one.
Wow, why you got to throw F dot on the bus like that?
It's
man?
always
What
a
did he
sash
do?
camp. It's always a sash camp with me. That no sash camp will be infamous.
You know, he was
infamous.
messing with his key bindings. He misclicked. He didn't think that he could actually sash the buff.
It's infamous. I'm pretty sure he's going to come over here while we're on cast in a minute and say it once he hears it on air. So,
You're probably right.
More than likely. Dimi will get his own blue, though, on the right-hand side. Pick that up, makes him level 7. And went for the Ninja Tabby, which we've seen a couple of times on some balloons. It doesn't come out too often, but it is being utilized here.
And I like it in this scenario. Just using that sustain from the Scourge. That's the main reason why we're seeing this Ninja Tabby, is getting as many heals off that third hit of Scourge as you can, because variety is going to be there and be able. You want to stand in Scourge a lot of the time anyways, because you want to be disarming the Osiris as much as possible, since he wants to be using his in-hands.
Well, this is a similar start to game 1 where NRG had a lead and looked to steal away speeds over and over again. This time around, though, Dig aren't able to defend as well as they did at their own speed buff. You see the aggression onto Zeros in mid. That knockup was beautiful. Nothing Zeros could do, because when you're knocked up, you can't Aegis.
No bead, so good recognition by NRG, knowing that there's no way for Zeros to get out of that CC chain. Wild Hunt on top of that. That means that Zeros can be controlled for 3 seconds, and a little bit more than that even, in terms of CC duration, without being able to get that Aegis off.
Great little pick there, and it's just catching Zeros to disapparate before he can get even into towards casting. That is really the key. No Wild Hunt wasn't even really needed there from Yamin, but it did come in handy still to get the extra damage off.
And just guaranteeing that Aegis is going to come out and force Zeros back into his tower. You have to go into a risky situation in that scenario. Smart play by Yamin. Probably not going to need that ultimate soon anyways.
And now NRG 4 men strong, looking at the blue buff, just trying to strip that away, and it looks like they do so just in time. Rafa going to be like, no, Dimmy, you don't need this. I need this. Look at me. I am the solo laner now.
You tax your solo laner. Hey, I earned you this farm. I'm going to get the buff. It's fair.
Support should be able to tax buffs.
What does that mean? You get a portion of the
I think
buff?
every single... If you're a support and you see a buff, you can take it. Because you have to play support, man.
No, you're not going to do anything
Listen,
with
think about it. When you call in lobby and casuals, for example, and you call in lobby and you don't call quick enough, you end up on support.
Yeah.
95% of the time. Experience that, because I've tapped in Phil so much.
Yeah.
And I main support. But 95% of the time you're playing support. You should get the buffs of like, listen, none of you wanted to play this role, so I get the buffs.
So I should be giving a level 7 Terra my red buff.
Yeah.
Just because he was too slow to type in mid and press enter.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You earn those buffs by calling your role in the lobby.
All right, well, I remember you earn your life when you survive in a team fight because the support saved you. Remember that. Remember that. It's casualties of war, my friend. Dimmy is continuing to pressure Variety, who's 2 levels down, and this seems to have been NRG's game plan for me. The solo lane pressure, they put him on Osiris. They let him have Osiris. They could have banned this away. They put Variety on it, and now they're trying to abuse that situation.
And this is a great sign for NRG, because I like their idea. Yeah, Osiris is an absolute nightmare to deal with if he gets a lead. But if he doesn't get a lead, he's really not that scary at any stage of the game, because he's really doing most of his work at the early stages. So I like this decision. Put Variety in Osiris, sure. We're just going to make sure that he never gets scary, and then he just doesn't feel very useful come late game.
Well, Dignitas are a little bit slower than used to be on these oracles, because last game they were split consistently. This time round, NRG will get both, and Trix dashed in very late there looking for the steal. Could have been caught out, but NRG didn't want to commit. They just wanted the experience and the actual vision around the goal Fury.
We've seen so many different... this NRG roster being together for as long as they have, and we see so many high-profile games for them that you really feel like you get a sense for the way they think about the game. And we see this so many times, at least that I can remember. They lose game 1 in a very close back-and-forth game, and then they just get mad. They just don't like losing like that, and then really tighten up their play in the second game of a set. Wouldn't be surprised to see NRG come out and really dominate this entire time.
Well, that's awkward. When you think about it, it's a really awkward thing to do. Is Adaption looking to steal away the buff? This time around won't happen. Cubo secures it. Adaption's still boxing and getting the better end of this as Yamin now turns up in Zeros under pressure. Disapparate forced out as Trix also in a lot of free poke from Rafa.
Adapting actually body blocked Cubo off that speed buff for a full 2.5, 3 seconds. That's insane. I mean, didn't have any
speed.
Speed's still on the ground. Cubo was forced back. Now was Adapting 2v1, just standing on top of the speed saying, yeah, you might have gotten the farm for it, but you're not getting the buff.
And the buff will eventually just disappear because it only lasts for 30 seconds and it's gone. There's no chance for Cubo to go and pick it up. Blue buff's about to spawn though, and Adapting's already in position with Dimmy pressuring Variety more under the tower and 2 more members of NRG on the way.
Adapting a little bit low on mana right now, but has enough. Camazot's not necessarily the most mana-hungry god in that jungle, but Dignitas' response is enough to get NRG off the blue buff. Instead, going to take the consolation prize of the Fire Elementals.
The blue buff will go
down.
no,
that goes Dimmy's way.
No, Dimmy just took it with a Scourge.
Of course, that's Dimmy's. Get off that.
So even worse situation for Dignitas, then this just continues every single little skirmish we see. Every single time they flip that coin, it's coming up on energy.
But they don't have that much of a lead for having as much, some would say luck, others would say skill, just as much going in their favor as they do right now. Only up 2 kills, about 2,000 gold, a little bit under that mark, and as good as NRG's late game is, as I mentioned, Dignitas is very solid as well. Could be Dignitas just going for the same sort of style. If it worked in game 1, no reason it can't work here again in game 2.
Well, no, speaking about our kill so far in this game, but now Rafa just turns up at the same time and knocks him back. The Devour's Gauntlet is nearly finished now, and going in this against Kronos, again, we saw it against Freya, is it just as wise to go for the Devour's Gauntlet against Kronos?
Exactly. Kronos is going to play safe the entire time anyways. Not a ton of kill potential there, so you expect that you're going to be able to farm up pretty heavily as well. Wouldn't have hated to see a Silver Branch Bow, the magical equivalent of that Ichaival, stripping away some magical power from Emilito, giving Arkil that attack speed and penetration. But either way, I've got no problem with him focusing towards the late game and trying to be as effective there as possible. Plus, something that we haven't seen a lot of recently because hunters are starting to move away from lifesteal, or really have moved away from lifesteal pretty heavily during Season 4, is Arkil will be able to solo the Gold Fury pretty soon here, whereas NRG doesn't have a chance to do that.
And the Portal Demon too, when you think about it, it's another situation just like that. This fight is all around the Oracles, and NRG in greater position overall. They're just poking out and keeping Dignitas at bay. We'll take them for free. The left-hand Harpies could be contested by both here. Trix and Cuvo turning up with Arkil to try and put some pressure on, but NRG just too quick.
And this is NRG's game plan to starve out Dignitas in the early stages, because if they could get to the late game first, they're certainly going to have the better team fights because they've got arguably the better late game anyways. And as we mentioned in game 1, the mid game is also very scary for NRG. You think about Yaman hitting that power spike of finishing Shifter Shield as he just has, and if he goes for the same build as he did last time at Ichaival right after this, I love it. That's the perfect idea.
Speed buff on the right-hand side being looked at by NRG here, adapting, starting up. Trix, Tank, and Zero's looking to steal it away, and will do so. Zero's nicely done there just to secure that for his team and get Cuvo his speed this time.
Can I just say that I love the little colored spirits that come off the minions now?
It makes life so much easier.
Oh, it's so nice. Just taking a moment to appreciate what we have.
I dealt with that for 3-4 years easily. And you come on the scene, you do half a year, and you're like, oh man, I'm so glad it's done.
I don't know who got the buff. That's
Arkil versus Emilito, and Arkil's losing that trade because Emil will rewind. And the position of the rewind is beautiful. Emilito gets himself a solo kill. Arkil falls down.
Said not a lot of kill potential in that lane against Emilito, but apparently plenty onto Arkil.
Plenty onto Trixtank too. Piggy squeal, Piggy. Yamin gets credit for the kill there. They invest a lot to burst him down, but it could work out well.
Now they've got the opportunity to go for the Portal Demon. Cuvo's on this left-hand side, actually, chasing down Emilito. That Typhoon gets beads out, and Cuvo's still going for it.
And now Emilito could box in the minions, but the minions and Cuvo's damage is too good. Meanwhile, Adapting takes out Zeros, and Variety can't do anything apart from potentially just watch 4 members of NRG walk over to the Portal Demon again.
Half health, has the ultimate, but very low on mana as well. Good decision from Variety to give this one up. NRG winning basically all across the map. Cuvo puts Dig on the board, knocking down Emilito in a big way, but still it's NRG in the lead.
I think the biggest story is the 1v1, because that's kind of where the hope was for Dignitas, I feel. The other lanes of Dignitas were currently losing anyway. You know, Zeros have been killed already. Variety had a bad time at the start. You were kind of relying on Arkil to weather the storm a little bit and maybe transition you, but getting soloed by Emilito means that every lane is losing.
And the big difference, the big reason why we saw Arkil get soloed there is he just can't keep getting hit by these time stops.
This trap. That little sneaky trap on the left-hand side is beautiful as we watch Variety box out. But they're sneakily waiting for Emilito to come back. They know they got both his relics. They know his ultimate's on cooldown. And if he just face checks there, he's going to die. The bad news is it's taking him a lot of time to set this up, and they're not earning experience by doing so.
And Cuvo desperately needs something. He's already down 2 levels to Adapting.
He's still not even coming.
Still only level 11.
That's so bad. You know, it's like playing peekaboo and you're like, okay, I'm hiding. Oh, they walk past me and you don't see him for 3 hours. Now they're going to commit to like, Emil's got nothing. All in him. Bad news is Rewind came back up at the worst possible time, and now the rotations could come out from NRG. Adapting, swinging in from mid. Rafa wants Zeros to separate, already used, and Dimmy turns up to the fray too. It's Trixtank they're after, actually, but the Bracer will keep him standing, as will his ult. Dimmy's ult will not hit the 3 carries of Dig around the left-hand side, but still NRG do well.
There's great option there by Dignitas to get out of danger. That Terra's Blessing huge in order to get the rest of Dig enough movement speed to get away from Dimmy's ultimate, but Raffer falling pretty low. Gold Fury's leashed, but Trixtank still hanging around below 15%.
And Adapting now wrapping around the back, getting good damage off into Zeros. Cubo pulls him in, and Adapting leaps back out. Dignitas have to fall back, and it's Cubo and Variety on the front line on their own. Arkill comes in with the snipes, trying to support him, will do so. Zeros credit with a kill onto Dimmy. 1 for 0 to Dig. And NRG are like, nope, peace, we're done here. Let's just fall back. Or are we?
Wow, really good plays out of Dignitas. Somehow staying alive with that low HP, just baiting NRG in consistently. Talk about confidence in your own team to just basically dangle Trixtank out there with very low HP, baiting NRG into the fight, getting 1 kill, and then immediately retreating. Again, Dignitas just knowing exactly what their team can get away with and what it can't. That may not seem like a lot. I mean, only getting 1 kill and not losing anyone in the process. No objectives, nothing like that taken. No stuff after the stuff, if you will. But again, it's that first sign of life from Dignitas. It's funny because they can really take it to NRG in this game.
The calls are good, but they're all being followed too, which is even better. Because you want all the calls to be followed, first of all. Then you work out whether the call is good or bad. They're doing both here. Whoever's making these shot calls is perfect on the disengages and engages. But the rest of the team are all following suit, and that's what you need when you're one of the best teams in the world, potentially going up against potentially still the best team in the world.
I mean, it's team chemistry is critical at this stage, at this level of play. It really is the difference. I mean, you expect everyone's going to be hitting their shots. That's not really the question anymore.
It's kind of when you get to the Pro League and you get into the Pro League as a low-level tier team, like say for example Sanguine or Justice the years gone by. Your job there is to try and pick up to the pace of the Pro League. The small mistakes are going to get punished heavier, and the shot calling has to be better and improved. Then when you get to the mid-table, you're like, okay, now our communication's got to get to that level too, as the shot calling has. And then you've got to add in your mechanics too to get to the real top level of everyone playing at the best of their ability the entire time.
And that just reminds me of how well Rival has done to stick together. And that has been the team to watch in terms of watching their transformation. Bring up Justice, one of their old players on that team. Vote.
Cataclysm from Rapid very early on. Nice knock-up too. Already the dash was down for Trix just to make sure NRG couldn't commit, but you saw Beads was used by Zeros there. NRG walk away happy with that.
Zeros and Arkill, so very happy. 2 ultimates for both. 2 sets of Beads. Oh yeah, you're going to take that trade every single time. Now both of those characters have some CC immunity in their kits. Zeros with that very brief moment of CC immunity with that Supernova, and of course Arkill can buy plenty of time with the Astral Barrage, but all it takes is 1 quick CC from Dimmy or even Emilito, and that could spell death before those ultimates go off.
And now they're going to be a little bit more careful. Yeah, Zero's going to be coming around towards the Gold Furies. The Oracle's going to go to NRG once again. 4 members strong will easily take them away. And that's the one thing that happens at the highest level too, is the beads count. Talking about beads, like in casual B, your beads are down or not. You don't know if your oppositions are down or up ever half the time unless you burn them. But these guys take that into account every single time. They're like, listen, we know beads are down until, you know, a certain minute in the game. In this example, it's 100 seconds time before those beads are back up, and we can abuse that.
Dimmy getting low on the right-hand side. Variety catches him with that Lord of the Afterlife. Kubo's here, and that's going to be it for Dimmy. Variety is going to be the one to get the kill, his first of the game.
They could get Tower here as well if they want to, but they were a little bit worried about a potential rotation coming out from NRG. That rotation is very, very late, and they could have got that tier 1 tower. In the end, they'll fall back, and Yamin will keep it alive for the time being. Dignitas could have found a little bit more of a small win there, but without ward coverage in the jungle, it made it very tricky.
It only is going to take half of a minion wave to get in that tower to knock it down anyway. It's not a big deal. Plus, that can sometimes be a boon. I mean, now Dimmy has a choice. Do I want to teleport back to that right-hand side just to make sure that Dig don't get that 500 gold burst and really waste my teleport in doing so? You can really pin a solo laner in their lane by keeping their tower low, but not quite killing it.
Rafa's just sat in the Gold Fury pit right now. Has Blink available, and that's what he'll be looking for. Cataclysm is back up. He knows that his cooldown of Cataclysm is lower than that of the 2 beads of Zeros and Arkill, and they could be setting up for a cheeky little trap here.
He's waiting for Zeros on that bottom left side, and going back to that beads count, that you want to talk about applications of math. You know, you want to be a pro Smite player, you have to know exactly how long those beads are going to be going. It takes a little bit to practice to get there, but absolutely critical for a team. Every team at top level has someone who hears beads go off and does the math in their head.
And Rafa was just caught in position there, but he's going to blink on Zeros early on, but Zeros returns the favor with an ult to get immunity, to avoid the Cataclysm, to get his Disapparate off. Lovely play from Zeros, but NRG still coming to the gold, and Zeros' ult is now on cooldown.
Still has the Aegis, though, and the beads are going to be up in about 5 seconds, so Zeros,
what a good ult.
Safe enough. Yeah, quick reaction time out of the veteran.
But he's still aggressed on by Adaptin. Adaptin's low on mana, but he will force Zeros completely out of the fight now. Zeros just too low, but he's still thinking about coming back in or farming. Gold Fury still at 100% health as the two warriors in the solo lane still boxing away.
And now Variety's got that lead in the solo lane. It's level 16 to Dimmy's level 14, and you can see that Mystical Mail is done for Variety. So he's going to be the one putting more damage onto Dimmy at this stage, even with Dimmy getting some decent heals from that Gladiator Shield passive.
Patient game between the two. Still no Gold Fury's down. Portal team has been looked at more in this set than Gold Fury has.
Gold Fury is just risky at this stage. I mean, one Gold Fury can really spell the end, and especially whenever you get to the point where it's 19.5, 20 minutes, somewhere around there, and that first Gold Fury still hasn't gone down, because remember, Gold Fury reward scales off of the amount of time that's on that in-game clock, and so you have to be wary with those later game Gold Furies, worth more than those early game ones.
A little bit surprised by Emilito's build there, just because I expected to see the Fatalis when he was working towards it in that tree. Instead he went for the Winged Blade, which you mentioned in the last game was really solid for the amount of slows. Is it the same story this game?
Solid, maybe not quite as good, because you really want it anytime there's a Nemesis on the other team, but excellent against Soul, Osiris, and Rom as well.
Well, Variety taking a brunt of damage there up against Adapting, and just has to walk away, and that's the whole job Adapting's doing. He's basically very ability-based, feels Kamazots. Obviously his auto attacks do hurt, but you only really use them when you've got the opportunity to use them.
You just kind of weave them in whenever you get an opportunity. Auto-canceling, basically, just making sure you're getting as much DPS as possible when close range, but certainly more ability-based than most other assassins, and even less so than Thor. Thor really relies on auto-attacks in between abilities to have that 100-0 potential. Kamazots is about poke, 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 and then all-ins you with that one to give himself a power boost into the ultimate.
Can we see gold in hand here? I want to see how much Trix is on, because he's just farming up a little bit more. He's got enough gold for Sovereignty, which I'm surprised at that he's not gone back to get his Relic too, especially knowing that Gold Fury is always a threat. There we go. I was wondering how long he's going to take to do this, because he had enough gold for a little while.
Well, he heard you and said, all right, I'm sorry, I'm going back.
Man, imagine if they could hear us. That'd be so good.
Would it?
Yeah. I'd beat them all day for fun. Oh, Variety, there's 3 of them behind you, watch out! Like, all the time.
They're all on Fire Giant. It's like 8 minutes into the game.
8 minutes into Fire Giant. Shut up, Hindu, we don't believe it.
But the solo stops, looks like, wait a minute.
So much that they realize, they think I was baiting every time, and then just tell them the truth. And so they're like, yo, just so you know, Energy's on Gold Fury. And they're like, no, they're not Hindu, it's Hindu talking. They're never on Gold Fury. And then you hear the ding. And they see the gold lead. And
this
like,
is a way for you to expand your Hitman Caster Curse business. And just say, yeah, I'll say you're on Gold Fury when you're not. You know, you just sell those on the side.
Well, we'll see if we can do that. Maybe we look at Lan. Dimmy in mid lane, pressuring Cubo out. Zeros immediately turns into corporeal form to get back to safety, knowing he's under pressure. But now that's on cooldown. Could be go time for NRG.
Adapting is coming on the left-hand side. That tier 1 tower already gone. Dimmy gets the shield from Raffer. Still needs a little bit of damage. Arco does as well.
But NRG get what they want, the tier 1, and immediately collapse straight back towards the Gold Fury. But it's not the Gold Fury they're after, it seems. It looks like they're heading towards the jungle side, towards the solo lane tower. They want towers.
They want the towers, exactly. And look at their composition. You can't blame them for wanting the towers. They've got that Chronos. Now that Emilito has the Obsidian Shard, that tower shredding penetration item, this is when NRG's grouping up to push.
I think you're right. It's all about that Obsidian Shard. The tower is not going to take too long. Emilito can tank it up with some of those shields coming out from Rafa. Variety's on the scene, though. Minions are in play, but NRG has to be respectful of the rotation from Dig. Trix pops the ultimate early on, trying to slow everybody down as Dimmy's boxing against Zeros. Frenzy is popped, and Dimmy's the one in trouble. Thorns is keeping him alive for as long as possible. He has to Eagles rally away, and Arkill's looking for the snipes. It's Zeros who gets credit for the kill because Susano pulls him away. Adapting takes to the sky like a bat out of hell and hitting 3 as Variety's boxing against 3 on the other side.
He's got to retreat, though, and Adapting's waiting for him by this Gold Fury. Variety jukes out the abilities, and now it's the rest of Dig starting to come around the side.
And they're looking for Emilito, who rewinds back to safety. Zeros is the one in trouble, but Emilito's just low on mana. He can't do too much against Zeros. It's a box off between mages, and Emilito is forced to Aegis defensively.
Adapting still alive. Somehow Arco's missed all of his auto attacks. There's the Geb shield, and Adapting's gonna live. Are you kidding me?
Cubo was looking for it, but he's not gonna find it. 4. So it's a 1-for-1 tricks for Dimmy. Gold Fury, is that started by Dig here? Are they doing the gold now, or are they doing the oracles?
Yes, they pulled it, and it's Variety there taking it up. Arco's got that lifesteal as well. It is going to be Dignitas about to pull this in. This is going to go their way.
Big fight.
But man, you want to? I made the analogy with the heavyweight boxers in the last game. This one, adapting looked like Muhammad Ali juking all those shots.
Fire Giant call from Energy, so they lose the gold. Not only Variety's here, Variety does not have his ultimate available. Dimmy collapses onto him. Yamin's still tanking this up, but Yamin's getting very low. Shield from Rapper help him out. Variety's just trying to keep vision right now. Tether will slow the damage down for a moment. Collapse onto Yamin to pressure him out. Cataclysm on Variety in response. He has to use Thor's Eagles Rally. That was a killing blow for Ninja Dimmy. And Energy, Gold Fury for Fire Giant.
What a call. The confidence from Energy is just absolutely amazing. They have no worries about Variety there because they know they can CC chain him.
I was worried Trix wasn't going to try and body block that, but he is now. I was like, please don't let Adapting just steal that away. I've seen that too much today where Portal Demons die. So Dig get gold, Dig get Portal Demon, and Cuvo, wisely so, takes that tier 1 tower in mid. Energy, meanwhile, got the Fire Giant, and that's why the graphs are yet again. Was it 22, 24 minutes last game? Yeah. The graphs are even?
Here we are again. Deja vu all over again between these two teams. And this is, I mean, we built a pretty good game coming in here, and we're certainly getting it. This set has been absolutely amazing. These two teams playing at the top level of SMITE.
It just feels like the teams are starting to work out the game again. Since Season 4 hit, normally the first split is all everyone working out how things work and what the changes are that have changed with itemization, map changes like the Portal Demon, the Oracles, the Elementals. Now, it's kind of like, okay, we all know what's going on, and now we get to see these really close encounters.
That's what's so exciting, and everyone's ramping up for DreamHack Valencia. That's made up to be, it's going to be an incredible tournament. I mean, the level of play at Masters was really exciting to watch. Teams were really starting to understand how to abuse leads that they got, and after some recent adjustments, now they're going to be able to readjust and see what their play is going to be like for DreamHack.
So with this Fire Giant now, it looks like we should see Energy start to try and take down some of these towers, even though it's an even game. This Fire Giant buff doesn't make it even. It basically means that they have extra damage survivability because of the regeneration from this buff.
And I like this decision from Dignitas to just play very patiently. They don't want to take the fight to Energy right now, and a little bit surprised that Energy hasn't tried to force it since getting this Fire Giant. Now is the time, though.
2 minutes? They've had it 2 minutes so far, not done anything with it. That's really surprising.
But
like you said,
especially because of how much they wanted to tower siege earlier, that Fire Giant buff makes tower sieging even better. So you would have expected Energy to really put heavy focus on these tier 2s very, very quickly. Still got about 1 minute and 50 seconds on this buff, so still plenty of time to make something happen.
I mean, this is just pressure right now, because you see Rafa was farming mid, going to roll out towards the lane. Now on the way is Yaman down the lane with the Kurnanos. Everyone's starting to group up nice.
And Emilito has that rod up to Hootie. That's probably a big reason why Energy was waiting a little bit longer to start sieging. Wanted that
Blink calculates him onto Variety. The Thorns is already used. Rafa takes the brunt of the damage, but the shield soaks a lot. Still, Rafa's getting low, but Bracerman doing to the rescue. In the sky is Arco looking to snipe out Emilito and keep him honest. Rewind not used by Emilito there, though. They're going to hold on Energy and look to regen.
2 ultimates used on the side of Dignitas, 2 ultimates used on the side of Energy, but that tier 2 tower still stands. Look how much damage it took very quickly, though. It's not going to take Energy long to knock these down whenever they have this Fire Giant buff. And now they're healing up, using that sustain from the Fire Giant buff. It's their time to try and siege it again.
Minions on the way in for Energy means the backdoor protections are removed. Yamin going to get clapped on by Trix, trying to slow him down, but it's still not going to be enough to keep the tier 2 tower alive. I love Variety's idea to try and flank around the back. The bad news is Adapting expected that and was hanging there on Kamazots.
And now the tier 2 in middle is the focus. I mean, Emilito is just shredding these towers alongside Yemen. Cannot stand for long.
Oh, this is a little bit risky from Energy as the damage coming out from Sol comes into play. Minions have turned up on the scene though, but they're going to get shredded down very quick, and Energy can't find any more than they'd like to from this tier 2 tower in mid. Speed is coming up soon. It looks like they're trying to draw people into the jungle for a fight.
Zeros got drawn in and absolutely had to use the Aegis to get away, but immuned out that ultimate from Dimmy. Trix tag, now the focus under that tier 2 tower in mid, is able to find that route, but immediately Energy just turn their focus and get 1,500 gold for the team.
They will get that tower, and Variety will not swing around the back. You saw him teleport to the tier 2, and I like what Energy did there. Another basketball reference today, head fake yet again. They went into the jungle and like, hey, we're going to go to the solo. They went, oh no, we're going back mid. Drew Dignitas into an awkward position and get the tower for it.
People do head fakes in soccer, right?
No.
No?
I mean, yeah, technically, but would you call it a head fake?
You're just trying to seem like you're
we just got it debated.
You guys call it Jebaited.
Yeah,
Is that where that's where the Twitch emote came from?
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Jebaited. Chat live by the one too. 7-4. Fire Giant is off. All members of NRG Esports now, and still. Dignitas is base and is in decent array after that.
I mean, only losing 2 tier 2s. Yes, that's 3,000 gold for NRG, and that's going to push them a little bit closer to some big power items, but Dignitas is right there with them. I mean, only 4,000 gold behind at 28 minutes. That's very little in terms of how far behind you actually are. Now, if Dignitas is sitting, you know, on almost a Rod of Tahuti on that restored artifact, whereas Emilito has his, that's where that big difference can come from, but you can kind of fight around that, say, wait, I need to farm a little bit more, and then we can start taking these fights.
Contest of the gold here is going to happen. Dignitas got the last one of these, but it should go to NRG as Variety have to surrender it. But maybe Dig start swinging around to the Fire Giant, because that's where they're going right now, a couple of members. Once again, though, Adapting sniffs it out before it's even happened.
It was the opposite play Dignitas wanted to do, exactly what NRG did to them, but that just too much damage and too much mobility from NRG. They were going to get there in time, basically no matter what. Dignitas don't have that objective shred that NRG do. Actually, cancel that. They've got plenty of objective shred, just wasn't up in time.
I'll tell you what, nice little crit coming out from Arkil there. A couple of crits in a row now, swinging for about 600. Not got a whole lot of crit in this build just yet. That'll keep climbing as time goes on. This Portal Demon has been reset multiple times, but still going as Eagles right from Dimmy. Portal Demon goes to NRG. Trix can't really get in the fight to protect Arkil right now, who's running for his life. Ram adapting. Meanwhile, Dimmy's doing the same things as Zeros.
Cuvo charging up the Typhoon, gonna knock up a 3-man there. Variety can't quite find the ultimate though, and the ultimate from Zeros wasn't good.
Adapting chasing after Cuvo just to put some more pressure on his Variety. Gonna run down with Trix and get a good wall off his Trix onto Rafa and Dimmy. Rafa's one hit from death right now, and they will pick it up. Zeros credit with a kill. Emilito, though, will also take out 2.
That double stun was huge coming out of Emilito. Zeros and Trix Tank on the run now, and all of a sudden, NRG starting to turn it on its head. They're the ones pushing back Dignitas.
And they've got the Portal Demon. The slow will connect with Zeros, but Disapparate will speed him up. Emilito! Oh, that was close.
The Disapparate damage almost did it. If that was Release Soul, Emilito would have been stunned and killed in that scenario, but just able to escape. Great body blocks there by Dimmy, potentially saving Emilito's life.
And Emilito did start his step for a second there, so he still gets away, though, luckily enough. Great work from his solo lane to keep him standing. Portal Demon is slowly, is it worn off already, the Portal Demon? That's how long the fight was? That's crazy.
Extended in that scenario, and Emilito now a completely full build, all 6 items done. Last item, Book of the Dead. Really thought that was going to be a Fatalis. I really expected a Fatalis in that 6th item slot, but instead decides he needs a little bit more power. Wouldn't mind seeing him trade that Winged Blade for a Fatalis if this game goes late enough, but
not too worried about it, because
doing okay.
It could be ability-based Chronos when you've got a Hunter on your team anyway, right? And they've got the Chronos, so go for the ability damage version of Chronos and it works out. Chronos and Chronos, really?
Already gone. NRG using that objective shred. Yemen going to be the one to secure it for his team. Less than 10 kills for NRG so far, but have really gotten those kills when they matter, always around objectives.
That's why no one picked Nike this game.
Oh, they wouldn't have even had the passive.
See? Smart plays. These guys think so far outside. Listen, we're going to go over 30 minutes. We're going to have 10 kills either side. Let's not pick Nike. And everyone's like, okay, yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Nike seems good here. No, we're not going to have 10 kills. Oh, good point. We should go with something else then.
And look at the kills on Dignitas right now. They've only got 5, but it's shared out nicely as you'd like. Obviously, Arkil would like a couple more, but he's working on that crit still. I keep mentioning that because I'm interested to see where he goes for the Rage or the Deathbringer next, especially because of you going for the Windy.
Interesting that he's gone for this kind of little bit of both style. He's double dipping right now between the crit and the chin size. Usually, if you're building crit, you build XC, sure, but not chin size. You go for an extra crit item in that slot instead. This time around, and usually if you're going chins, you go for just a ton of penetration and really only relying on that executioner for the pen. Little bit of both. I think I would have preferred to see him just go straight crit if that's what he wanted to go for, but at the end of the day, I mean, if he's doing a lot of damage, he's doing a lot of damage. Doesn't really matter how he's doing it.
Well, it took 2 minutes last time for NRG to do something with their Fire Giant. This time it's only going to take them a minute because they'll head back to base, buy up, and take a tier 2. Now start the siege of the Phoenixes. Dignitas happy to defend the Phoenixes, I think, compared to tier 2s at this stage.
Yeah, no sense in defending tier 2s. 1,500 gold, as I mentioned, not really relevant at this stage.
Root from Trix onto Dimmy. Dimmy doesn't really care about that all too much. And Emilito was focused there, but Rafa with a nice shield to keep him busy, and it's all about poke wars now between the two.
That's exactly what you're... Oh, there's the Blink Cataclysm on a 3 from Raffer, but not a lot of follow-up for him. Now he's the one in trouble, getting shredded.
He's already dead. The ball was used as well, and that works out so good for Dignitas on defense. 4 members of NRG are like, what do we do now? The leader is dead. We've not got a front line, only Dimmy really there, so they've got to back away. Dignitas have defended against that Fire Giant.
Raffer falls into the classic support trap. You see multiple members grouped up. You got the perfect initiation. Everything goes right, except for the fact that no one's close enough to follow up.
If he had the speed buff and he would have taken it from adapting, he may have lived there. I'm just saying, support should take buffs.
No, he wouldn't.
He would have rolled out quicker.
He was CC'd.
He would have rolled out quicker.
They interrupted the rollout.
It was a nice little engage from NRG, though. I'd like Raffer going for that play, but Dig just handled it so well.
It was I couldn't quite see if anyone jumped in front of the rest of NRG to prevent that follow-up, or if it was just Raffer blinking a little bit too far forward.
He got 2 beads and an Aegis out of that. That's not a bad blink ultimate, but NRG can't turn it around after.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. He gets plenty for it. As I mentioned, that's the ideal engage. That's everything you want. You hit multiple carries with it and get multiple relics, but just no real follow-up afterwards, and it's about how much time you're losing on this Fire Giant. Raffer just respawning a moment ago, and so now we've only got about a minute left. I don't know if there's time for NRG to go for a Phoenix.
I don't think so either. We have to see another Fire Giant. One thing I will say is, looking at the beads timers between Zeros and Arkil, you can see Arkil was ever so slightly quicker than Zeros at the beads. However, Zeros didn't panic and use his Aegis where Arkil did. Interesting story from that one little cataclysm you can work out. Arkil is quicker at beading than Zeros.
In the very large sample size of one team fight.
And 0.1 of a second, too. That's the difference between them, pretty much.
Hey, 0.1 of a second could absolutely be the difference.
I know, that's what I'm trying to say. You're trying to put me down for it.
Well, sure. yeah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Now the defense, one more time. Geb is back. No blink available for another 5 seconds, would you believe? So this blink being available again in a second means Raffer could do exactly the same thing one more time. He's looking for the right opportunity. No beads are down, and there's 3 this time. The Wild Hunt is on. Trix Tag is going to fall even through the Brace of Undoing. Adapting heads straight for Zeros, and Dimmy claims his life. Arkil and Variety can't do anything to stop NRG as they rip the backline apart and take a Phoenix.
Perfect deja vu there for NRG. I mean, literally the exact same spot on the Phoenix defense, and they get the same 3 people hit by that ultimate once more. Trix didn't even get a chance to use his Frenzy or his ultimate in that scenario.
Well, game 1, you saw all 3 Phoenixes fall for Dignitas. Game 2, you're going to see all 3 Phoenixes fall for NRG Esports. God, these 2 teams make it a dream hack. This could be spicy.
Oh, man. Europe as a whole just has so much competition. Now it's NRG pushing into the Titan room. Don't want to back up like Dignitas did last game.
I don't know. I think they can hold for the time being. Variety doing work. Cuvo, he's taking him on a merry chase. Cuvo is going to fall soon, but Adapti just backed away.
Didn't have any cooldowns. No way to close that gap either.
Speed buff.
Yeah, but Susano. Yeah, what? You can't. You can have 2 speed buffs.
Who would believe a god that has all the mobility in the world, when he has no cooldowns, he also moves like he's got a million abilities in the world?
Is that how he moves? Like he has a million abilities?
I just hate him. He's always so mobile and hard to pin down. I mean, you think you've got him any beads or Aegises anyway, or Brace of Undoing.
You know what would help you? Like Susano
Deleting the character.
No, you should play him. You don't play any Susano.
I've not actually played a single game as him.
Honestly, I'm telling you, if you play him...
I love what they're doing. Like, come on, walk through. Sadly enough, it's not going to happen, though. Fire Giant coming back up does... This is the last time for Dignitas, I think, here.
It certainly is. I mean, look at how far they've pushed out those fire waves, though. It isn't like last time when Dignitas had multiple fire waves pouring in NRG's base, and you couldn't have anyone come and help defend that Fire Giant. Dignitas has a lot of space on their Titan room for the time being, but not going to last for long. This Fire Giant's going to go down. I mean, the 3rd one for NRG.
I don't think you can give this up. I don't think you can give up this Fire Giant here for free. I think you have to send 1 member and hope for the best.
I don't think so, because then you're taking a 4v5 in your Titan room with 3 waves of fire minions, and you lose anyways.
Take a 5v5 in the Titan room against a Fire Giant team and 3 waves of fire minions.
You don't have to take it in the Titan room. Now you wait until NRG groups up. Take it where your tier 2 tower used to stand. Take it where Trix Tank is fighting right now. You've got a little bit more space that way. I just don't think that trying to steal away the Fire Giant, even if you get it at that stage, you still got 3 waves of fire minions, and it's a 5v4, but it doesn't matter.
Cataclysm in mid hits 2. Variety's the one in a bit of trouble here, but it is a tank on the front line. Thorns uses Arkil. Invests a lot of his snipes into Adapting there, who uses the Bar of Hell. Dimmy on the backside looking to keep Zeros and Arkil busy. The crits from Arkil are working, though, but Yaman is swinging hard enough to bring down Trix Tank. Cuvo commits onto Dimmy, but Cuvo's just trying to buy time. Meanwhile, fire minions are slowly slowly gathering up, and one member of Dig is already dead.
Q-Vote is doing his best to distract on this right-hand
Hey,
side.
look at me.
Yeah, come chase
Look
me.
at me.
Don't worry about the Titan. I'm really mean.
And now he's going to keep him busy again, so Digger holding off. Emily and Yemi like, guys, come on, can we end the game, please? Meanwhile, they still want Q-Vote, and Q-Vote is just buying as much time as possible, keeping on a merry goose chase.
We really need a Benny Hill like song, just ready to go at any sort of stage, because that's exactly what Q-Vote's doing to NRG right now, just taking him on a walk.
No, it's too late now. Q-Vote's like, oh, I've lost my tails. Now he's dead. Adam's gonna find it. Is he gonna find it?
He's Susano, Hindu. When will you learn?
This is junglers, typical. Junglers only chase kills and speed buffs. That's it.
That's all they care about.
That's all they care about is kills and speed buffs. They don't care about winning games, unless you're adapting at Wills. I saw that face once before. But NRG will finally get the split against